Today on Experts Showcase, our guest is Rosalind Spigel, talking about the #1 key to leadership success. Rosalind, welcome to Experts Showcase. So glad to have you today. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. Well, thanks for being here. Just to get people's minds on the right wavelength, give us just a little overview of what we're going to focus on in today's episode about leadership success.
Sure. Well, there's so many books that have been written about leadership. There's primal leadership and resonant leadership and emotional leadership and all kinds of different leadership. But one of the constant variables to all those books is self-awareness. So I think the #1 key to leadership is self-awareness.
Okay, and we're going to cover 3 main things when we were prepping for the show. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown of what those are, and then we'll go through those. So self-awareness is the first thing we're going to talk about, along with awareness of others, and then communication. So these all sound like really important skills if you're the leader or if you're looking to increase that leadership. So tell me about self-awareness. When you're working in your role as a consultant, working with leadership, trying to help people develop leadership, what do you focus on in the self-awareness area?
Right. Well, there are lots of different ways to get to self-awareness. I happen to have an instrument that I use, but people use spiritual practice, all kinds of different things. But one of the reasons to develop self-awareness is it gives you a lot more confidence and mastery. So, and if you are delivering communication, which we'll get to in a minute, and hearing communication, then it also gives you a very strong place to stand from. So if you're hearing something that's very complimentary or you're hearing something that's not so complimentary, then you can still be very centered in what you are listening to and how you can respond. So if you're clear about what your strengths are and where you're coming from, you can respond in a way that's not defensive or sort of angry. It's just you're hearing information, you're delivering information, and you can be really clear about what it is you've got to give to the situation, the conversation, the organization.
So that self-awareness, being really kind of centered, being really solid, I mean, having that sense of integrity that you're not kind of faking it, I guess, I mean, is all kind of part of what inspires people to see you as a leader, right? I mean,
right. I mean, if you really know, as a consultant and as a coach, you really have to know, if you walk into a system, the minute you walk through the door, that's an intervention. So you have to know what it is you're bringing in with you, right? And same as with a leader of an organization. A leader of an organization really shapes the whole culture. So what is that culture? Are you aware of what it is you're shaping, and is it what you really want to be shaping? I think also one of the key things to this self-awareness is being really clear about what your purpose is in life. What's your own personal vision, mission? If you've got a company or a nonprofit or an organization, you're pretty clear on what the vision is and what the mission is. But do you have that kind of stand for yourself? And I think it's very important to have that, because that's sort of in an organization and in your life. If you've got that thing in the future that's really calling you from the future into the present, and it's just pulling you forward to where you want to go. And I just saw a quote the other day that was something like, if you shoot, it's not having a vision is like shooting an arrow without a target.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what would be worse than to follow a leader who's walking around in circles, right? I mean, you need that sense that this is a person who has vision, who has a sense of where we're going, that inspires me to want to be part of that movement, part of that mission, part of that organization that's trying to have some kind of impact on changing things, right? Right.
Yeah, and also a real sense of what their own life is for.
Yeah, purpose, that big why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so, okay, self-awareness, clearly a very big component of what has to be developed for a leader. What about awareness of others that you're talking about here?
Right, so most of us don't work all by ourselves, and even if we're solopreneurs, there are obviously people that we have to work with. So what are their strengths? What is their purpose in life? Where are they coming from? How is it that we can best deliver communication and feedback to them? And also sort of how do we hear that feedback as well, right? But if we understand what people's are and what their purpose is, then we can really speak to them in a way that's much more motivating. So I think that's an important piece of working with others. And also as an organizational leader, you sort of are looking down into the organization but you're also scanning the environment. So you're leading the organization, and you're really the boundary between the internal organization and the rest of the world, right? So as you scan the environment, what is it that you see? You know, you're not just communicating with people inside your organization, in other words. So how you scan the environment, what it is you're looking for, what are the trends you're looking for, how strategic are you in your thinking, and as you develop your community partnerships. So it's also sort of a way of being aware of others in terms of your own strategic mission and goals. And do you actually, of course, as a consultant, I would want every organization to have a strategic plan. So are you engaging with the right people to make sure that that plan and your organization is moving forward?
Right, because, you know, obviously self-awareness alone isn't going to cut it. I mean, I can be very self-aware, but then if I'm going to assume that everyone's just going to come along for the ride, then I'm going to be in for a pretty rude awakening, right? So I have to get pretty good at understanding other people's motives, how to get them to buy into the vision, to get them to really work as units and teams toward that vision, right?
That's right, yeah. And also just being aware that, you know, I mean, I know it might come as a shock to most of us, but other people don't think the same way we do. So
No.
I know, right? So one example I like to use is a person that was working with me on my website who was very detail-oriented and asking me all these questions about the font and the color and the white space, and, you know, it's like, ugh, I just noticed I was getting very defensive because I don't tend to think about those sorts of details. But that's the information she needed to help me make the best decision for my website. So as soon when I understood where she was coming from and where my sort of defensiveness was coming from, you know, we could just move forward and have a great relationship and hopefully a great website too. So.
Yeah, good example. Makes a lot of sense. Well, and that's a great segue then to our third point then, which is, okay, I'm aware of myself, I'm aware of others, but now I've got to use my words, as somebody you know, might have said in second or third grade. Use your words, right? So communication. I mean, when you're working with an organization, I mean, how do you tackle communication, which has got to be probably what, 99% of your work?
Yes, 99% of my work. I work with the human systems, so I don't work with the technical systems. I don't work with the accounting systems. The people are the folks that I work with, and organizations are fundamentally human systems. And I think that the vast majority of problems that organizations face have to do with no communication, poor communication, miscommunication. So if we can sort of figure out different communication styles, where people are coming from, what their own motivators and values are, how they express that in the world, then we can overcome so many of the problems that exist in organizations today. I mean, I've done a lot of team building activities, and it's just, you know, if people just become aware of, you know, how they communicate and what their sort of general behaviors and characteristics are, and look, I mean, it doesn't have to take a long time. You know, it's just a few paragraphs worth of data about yourself and others, and just sort of sitting together and pointing out, oh yeah, you're like that. Oh yeah, you're like that. And oh yeah, when you communicate, then all of a sudden it lightens things up. You know, people understand that, you know, you're not being attacked, you're not attacking. It's just a different style, and it can make so much difference, so much more productive, happy workplaces.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, you know, in every relationship, right? I mean, at any level, communication tends to be the key thing. We're very verbal creatures, and we live in an age where there's so many ways to communicate, but so many ways to miscommunicate as well, right?
Yes, that's true.
More channels do not necessarily mean better communication. They're just more ways to mess up your communication if you're not careful.
Right. Well, yeah, there's that. That's true. Yeah, and I'm talking pretty much face-to-face communication.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Rosalind, I'm going to wrap us up here a little bit, and then I'm going to tell people how to get in touch with you if they are looking for some help with their organization with some of these key features that we're talking about here. So we've been talking with Rosalind Spigel about the #1 key to leadership success, which, you know, we're actually giving you 3 keys, but the #1 being, you know, self-awareness. We've talked about self-awareness, we've talked about the importance of awareness of others, and then bringing it all together with how you communicate that, how you move people as a leader to follow and achieve the goals and realize the vision of what is going on here. So Rosalind, if people want to get in touch with you, I know there's a couple of different ways, and I'm going to, since I'm going blind, I'm going to put my glasses on so I can actually see my notes here. So you're offering a complimentary online assessment of behaviors and motivators. You mentioned that you use a tool. Is this the one that you were talking about, or one of them?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, so if you've got a couple of websites here, so basically you can find the link on her website. It's spiegelconsulting.com. We'll be putting it up on screen, so if you go to spiegelconsulting.com/services, but you can also go to ttisurvey.com, and your special offer here is that there's a code that will allow you to get this make this online assessment complimentary. So that secret code is on screen. I'm not going to tell you. So if you're listening, you've got to come and watch the video. How tricky is that of me?
Yeah.
So come and watch the video and get the secret code, and then visit Rosalind's website. Get connected with her, and if your organization is needing help in these departments, if you're the leader and you're not self-aware enough, you need awareness, you need help with communication to move this organization forward, then Rosalind is the person to talk to.
That's right.
Well, Rosalind, thanks so much for being our guest expert today on Expert Showcase. It's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah, can I just say that along
Absolutely.
with that report? Okay, yeah, people, it does come with a complimentary debrief, so you don't just get a report and try and figure out what it's all about. I mean, I'll actually walk you through it and do a debrief so we can make sense of it together.
Excellent. So you get not only the report, you get a little consulting thrown into the mix there, and you get to see if you guys have a great working relationship or not. Perfect. So take advantage of that, folks. And another great Expert Showcase episode. Chris, what should people do right now?
Yeah, if you're watching this and you're a coach or consultant, imagine what it would do for you and your business if you were a guest on Experts Showcase. And here's the best part. Other than possibly increasing your business, an appearance on Expert Showcase is free. We give you a copy of your episode so you can use as marketing collateral, and we give you a coaching session to go along with it to tell you how you can best market your episode and other tips and tricks about your business. So what you want to do is head on over to expertshowcase.com, click on the big yellow apply button, and apply to be our next featured guest on the Expert Showcase. Now, if you're a coach or consultant and you've already imagined what having your own internet talk show will do for you, then we want you to head to VideoContent.Agency and check us out, check our packages out, and get in contact with us. Let's see if we're a good fit, and let's see if we're the ones to produce you and make you the next star and have your own internet talk show. And until next time, Mark, anything else?
I couldn't have said it any better, so just do what he said.